So boom, yes people, so I'm so pleasured to be invited down here into the gym today, and the special guest that I said that I was gonna introduce to the people, and I kept it as a surprise, yeah, is none other, yeah, than the boxing legend, yeah, Rendall Munroe. Aye, big up yourself, man. Nice, thank you, bro.
Nice.
How you been though? How's everything?
Yeah, good man, good.
Yeah, so yeah, today I can see that obviously you've got your own gym set up and that. So just tell us a little bit like how this come about as well, man.
Well, to be fair, obviously I used to train a bit in Sugar's gym. Obviously I used to do my conditioning there when I was fighting. So in the end, when I obviously retired from boxing, I kind of lost the love of boxing. So then I went from the other side of it where I wanted to be a bodybuilder. So obviously it started in the gym next door, putting a load of weight on. Come to a point where I just ended up coming to the gym, sitting down, waiting for everybody else to come. I think for me, you don't really understand till later on in life that people start saying like, you might have been depressed. I was like, what are you on about? Depressed from what? You know what I mean? And like I say, later on when I kind of sat down and thought that, why would I turn up in the gym 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning just to sit down like I'm doing something, not doing something? So one of the guys next door, Dipak, who obviously one of the guys I always talk to closely, he says, oh, why didn't you start your own bit of a PT gym? Yeah. So at first I was a bit like, I don't know, you know, and he goes, honestly, just give it a try, it might work. So we set up half the gym, so half of it was his, half of it belonged to Carnival, so half of the unit, and did it that way. Started off with a few people, then the word got about, so more and more people started turning up until, like I say, I had 4 bags in here in a ring. I had not 16 people turn up one day. Like, wow.
Because of who you are though, innit? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So what do you do? Put like an advert out and say you're doing PT?
No. See, even that, I didn't even tell nobody. Like, even like now,
word of mouth.
Yeah, so the publicity of the gym is obviously my cousin Asher. He does all that side of it. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of like old school, man. People hear about it. If they want to come, they want to come. It's up to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so that went there, and then in the end, I kept telling Sugar that, look, I'm going to have to take over the whole unit, otherwise I'm going to have to move to something bigger. Yeah. So in the end, I think it's about 2-3 months of talking to him that in the end he let me do it. So we extended the gym, and I think I've been here about 12, 13 years now.
Wow. So, so you've been there a while.
Yeah.
Because when I've done my research, I see that you've got your own fighting academy now, isn't it? Yeah. How many boxers do you have now?
So basically, I train a few amateur lads. Okay. So I've got a few amateur lads on the scene, I've got a few unlicensed lads on the scene, I've got a few professionals. So kind of considering I went out of love of boxing, where I ended up straight back in it again, in even deeper, because I would say professional boxing is all about yourself, whereas as a coach now, it's all about everybody else. Yeah. So on the amateur scene, I've got about 4 lads, I think. On the unlicensed scene, I think I've got about another 4 on the unlicensed scene. There is the pros. I think I got 4 or 5 lads. Wow. So and just the same as I got lads collecting belts. Jeez. All over, do you know what I mean? So yeah. So everything's good, really. Everything's good.
As well, yeah. I would say as well. What was the, like when you was boxing and you was in your career, what was the highs and lows of your career when you was boxing?
I always think like the highs is, I think I tell a lot of people that when I fought Martinez, I think I was put there not expected to win. Yeah. And obviously, like you say, boxing, I tell everyone, within boxing, 75% of it's mindset. Yes. You know what I mean? And I was always a believer that I'm going to do something, do you know what I mean? So my mindset was, I didn't care, man. You know what I mean? I was getting phone calls at the time from people high up, like, you sure you should be taking this fight? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, well, the guy's got 2 arms, 2 legs like me, man, so we're just going to get it on. Yeah. So for me, that was a high, because obviously that turned me into the superstar. Like I say, Kiko Martinez at the time, knocked out 20 lads out of 21. Just been beat by Bernard Dunn, which supposedly was meant to be the next superstar. So that kind of shot me up into a bit of stardom. I'd say the lows of boxing, I think for me, was when I made it to the top. You start to realise that how much boxing is not about skill and belief and whatever boxing should be about now, but it's all about how many bums you can get on seats. Yes. How many tickets you can sell.
How popular you are.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like you say, I think for the point for me, like you say, I was #1 in the world. I just gone to Japan to fight for a world title, and then no, this don't want to fight me, that don't want to fight me. Then I end up fighting the #1 in Britain. Well, why am I fighting #1 in Britain when I'm #1 in the world? Like, nobody else wants to fight it, do you know what I mean? So I think for me that was the low side of it. I think because it was towards the end of my career, I think I felt it a bit more. I think when I had my first loss, when I fought for the British title, I had my first loss. In that period, even though I'd lost, I was struggling to get fights because I boxed for the weight above, which really wasn't my weight. But like anything, innit? If you want to be great, you've got to take the challenges, and it didn't quite work. But even at that time there, I took 12 months of training 6 days a week, still doing everything right, ready for the comeback. And it took that long to get back in there, but obviously when I came back in, it was like a motorway from that point, you know what I mean? I went from nowhere to superstar, do you know what I mean? So it's weird how I had 12 months out because I couldn't get a fight, but at that point I didn't care. I was still going to the gym doing what I was doing, whereas when I was at the top, it's kind of like, well, that's my goal, and I can't get the goal because you lot don't want me to get there, not because I've not got the abilities to get there. So I'd say for me, that was about most probably one of the low sides of it for me.
Okay, and then see when you retired as well, what would you say was the highs and lows of that as well?
I'd say that it was weird because unless you box, you don't really know. But from the point of retiring, it's weird because it's like there's no pressure.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? No one's expecting nothing. I'm kind of like, I'm free to do what I want.
You don't even have to be in the gym or spar or train.
It's all these like, even like eating and things like that. I can eat what I want. I can do what I want. Do you know what I mean? Even like, I always tell people, man started drinking at 43 years old. Started having a drink, you know what I mean? Because it was one of them.
So before that, you wasn't
nah,
that drying.
Nah.
I rate that.
Drinking and smoking.
That's discipline, you know.
You know what I mean? I think for me, it was kind of same again. I always believed it was one of them ones where I never wanted to be able to turn back and go, if I didn't do that, most I could have got a bit further. Whereas I know that everything I put into it was where I was meant to be, and that's it. You know what I mean? We weren't going to change. I'd say the lows, I don't know. I think it's kind of like, I always say for me, as much as I fell out the love of boxing, because I think that all the hard work over the years I put into it, just for finances to change things, to say, right, you're not fighting him and you're not fighting him, and I'm saying, well, why am I not fighting him? Because I should be fighting him. Whereas I got a bit lost, and even like to come back into it, the only reason I ever came back into it really myself, like messing around, is I remember one lad said to me, I'm doing an unlicensed show, do you mind having a little move around? Someone was like, why not? Someone having a little move around, but because I was like ready to do a bodybuilding competition, I was near 12 stone. So my body weren't used to that, because obviously I'm a 9 stone fighter, you know what I mean, 8 stone, 10, 9 stone.
And you're quick.
So I'm like in there,
move about a lot,
and after one round, I'm like, what's this, man? Man's got to get back in shape. So then it's like, slowly fell in love with it again. And then I always say that there was a boxer here that I trained, obviously now he's retired himself, Joe Ducker. But I think if it wasn't for him, I'd have most really made a comeback. I'd most really made a comeback, because it was kind of one of them where I was loving what I was doing. I found the love again. But it was weird because I was trying to compete with myself to go, no, you've got to help people now rather than go back for yourself. And it's like even now when people always say to me, I get in and I still spar now, and people are like, flipping it, when you could come back tomorrow.
Easy.
You know what I mean? But then I always say to them that you got to understand that within boxing, there's a lot of sacrifices. There's a lot of time. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of them where I always tell people, like, you have to be a bit selfish. You know what I mean? And for me, I think, obviously my missus, like I said, I've been with her X amount of years, that she was there from when it started to when it finished, and she kicked off now because she said, we're going back down the same line again, Rendall, but you're not fighting, you're now trainer, so I'm always out still. But it's that one where that comes second best to this, even though it came second best because I wanted for us, not for me.
That's right, you're doing it for your family anyway, for your legacy.
But then it's like one of them where you get up in the morning, go work, because obviously I'm still working, come back.
And you know what, I want to get into that as well. Because quickly I want to say as well, because when you say like coming back here, what I've seen like as a fan of boxing, or someone, you know, like fan of boxers, maybe like with Lennox Lewis, Frank Bruno, when they try and make comebacks, it always fails. They never really come back on the high, you know what I mean? Like even the other day, Tyson jumping in the room with Jake Paul, and it's like, we know Tyson, you can knock him out, but due to the politics, this, that, don't hit him, you know what I mean? So I think maybe you doing that kind of.
We was having this conversation the other day, because obviously someone says, oh, why don't you just come back, have one more, and then I'm questioning it for myself.
Thinking, and then, if it's a rap, we say if it's a rap opponent, would you come back? He's coming back.
But then at the same time, is like, a few of my fighters said to me, and the guy who used to do all my strength and conditioning, Harry, obviously, like I say, all my fighters go to him now for strength and conditioning.
Okay.
But it was one of them where he's turned around and he goes, "What have you got to prove, Rendall? What have you got to prove?" You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you've done it all.
You've done it.
You've done it. The 1% up there where you've been that.
The
1%,
legacy's there, bro.
You know what I mean? So for you to go back in there, what are you really proving to anyone? Because let's get it right. You're in there and you're supposed to win.
Yes.
As much as however old you are, you're
meant to win, bro.
You know what I mean? So
it's like when man sees Tyson in the ring, bro, man don't even want to hear Tyson lost. You're meant to win, bro. You're Tyson. You're Rendall. So
at the end of the day, you've got something there and you don't want to spoil that just by doing something stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like he said, if you look at it, you've got lads who you're training now, two of the brothers, Archie, Harry Gray, I call them the Cray brothers, but they're winning belts for fun. You know what I mean? I got Sean at the minute, he's Midlands champion. In a couple of weeks, going to fight for a Commonwealth title in Scotland. You know what I mean? So all these little things here is we're doing it on the outside. What do you need to go in there for?
It's like in football, when the manager, when the player retires, 9 times out of 10, like Zola, they go into football management.
That's it.
And then their success
comes in that side.
You know what I mean? So also, because I saw throughout your career as well, you kept your job. You're called the bin man, the bin man boxer, the boxing bin man. And do you know what? That shows, and I think that shows the people as well how humble you are as a character, like as a person.
You know what? Is I always say that it was one of these ones where it's hard to say. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of one of these where I was doing other jobs when I first started on with the boxing. You know what I mean? I was doing labouring work. I was making double glazed windows. But it was a weird one because my brother got me into this.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? Because obviously when I first started boxing, I was doing the labouring on the yards, building sites. But I was getting too big. You know what I mean? I was building too much muscle. Because same again, everything what I'm doing has to be to the extreme. Instead of
so is your metabolism high?
So I was building muscle because when I'm picking up bricks, I'm picking up more bricks than anybody else and making the work shorter. You get me? But I'm building muscle, which is putting on weight, so slowing me down. So it could work. Then on the double glazing side, I was working making double glazed windows, but I couldn't finish work in time to get to the gym. So everything was becoming long. And then my brother said to me one day, he says, "Oh, why don't you get on the bins, man? It's job and knock." And I was like, I don't know about that one.
Man ain't trying to, that's the man.
You get what I mean? But he says, no, honestly, it's job and knock. So the quicker you get the work done, the quicker you can get off. So I'm like, all right then, tell me someone I can go and see then. So he put me in touch with an agency, a guy, and he says, "Oh yeah, this is what you're gonna do, blah blah blah," and that's how I ended up on the bins.
Okay.
You know, that's really the truth of how I ended up on the bins because obviously I needed a job where I could get the job done and go so I could get to the gym.
Sick.
Do you know what I mean? So that's why. But then on the other side of it, because I wasn't like on the amateur scene, I wasn't like ABA champion and things like that. Because on that side of it, then when you're gonna turn professional, you turn professional like promoters come to you and go, "We'll pay you this if you sign for us. We'll pay you this because." Like anything, you're the cash cow.
Yes, that's right.
Where as an amateur, I was average. You know what I mean? I lost 10 fights out of 40 or 30, something like that. But I wasn't nobody. So I'm starting from the bottom of the ladder. So I got nothing.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So you still got to make sure you're earning something.
All right. So I still got to make sure I'm earning something. Do you know what I mean? So on that side of it, it was like I needed to go work because, like I say, at the time, and even like I always say for everyone. Oh, God bless, he's not here now, but my oldest lad was the reason I got into boxing. You know what I mean? Simple as that. I needed a job that can pay me some money because I got a kid to feed.
Got a responsibility.
Do you get what I mean? That's it. I got a responsibility now. So as much as boxing is a selfish thing, the whole point of boxing was to get the money. And I would say Sticky, same as him, he no more. He got me into boxing. He said to me, "Rendall, you like fighting? Turn professional, you can earn £500-600 a fight." And I was like, where I need to go? Where I need to go? No GCSEs, no nothing needed. Come man, just put 2 gloves on and have a scrap. 500-600 quid, I'm happy for that. Where do I go? So it was kind of that one. So I had to work. Do you get what I mean? I had to work to fend. So as much as being selfish was the thing, the goal was to make sure the family and everything got things. Because
Yes.
I used to pay for them to go on holidays while
Yes.
I'm training.
Yes.
You get what I mean? So
Yes.
even though I was out doing what I was doing, it was for us, not for me.
Yes.
You get what I mean? So
No, I respect that.
in that side of it, so that's the whole reason why on the being on the bins, and even till everyone always says, "Oh, Biffa looked after you," or this, that.
Yeah.
Biffa did, but they didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
They gave me 6 weeks off, no pay. Yeah.
See?
Yeah. So everyone thinks,
So that's 6 weeks now. I need to make 6 weeks money somehow.
right.
You get me? I've got to be grinding
So,
somehow. You know what I
right.
mean?
So even on that side of it,
Yeah.
I didn't tell them about the boxing because I wanted to keep it quiet. I didn't want them to kind of think that boxing taking over the bins or nothing. So everything was kept on the quiet. So the only reason they found out is I've just got to won the Midlands title. So even the guy who, going back where the boxing bin man came from, the guy who used to drive my truck.
Yeah.
He used to say to me, "Oh, we need to come up with a bit of a thing for you, man, so we can get everyone talking."
Like a character. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like an entrance.
That's
and,
it.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Yeah." So we used to just work, and we was working. And then one day he goes, "Yo, I got it, Rendall, I got it." So I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I got it. The boxing bin man." I said, "Shut up, you fool, man. Boxing bin man."
Yeah, are you trying to call me a boxing
You
bin
get
man?
me? I said, "You
Yeah.
idiot, man. That can't work, you fool." I says, "I'm Rendall Two-Toe Munroe."
Yes, that's right. Because
You
that's your boxing name. Yeah.
Because I've always had that from, you know what I mean? And obviously, because my mom's from England, my dad from
I thought
Jamaica.
so because I see the Jamaican and
that's
I
it.
like
So
that.
that's
Come
where
on.
the two-tone
Yeah,
came from.
yeah, rate that.
You
Yeah,
know what I
come
mean?
on,
So
repping.
that's where it came from. So anyway, two-twos, these guys used to sell tickets. So I had close friends.
Yeah.
So when it used to come, because that's another side of the boxing that people don't see that.
You have to sell tickets.
Right, when you start off as a nobody,
Yeah.
you've got to make the money to pay.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to make the money to pay for the boss man to
Yep.
put you on the show.
Yep.
So man selling tickets, but then what people don't see, you've got to try and sell tickets and train at the same time.
Yeah.
You're trying to do it all at one time.
Yeah.
So for me, it was kind of one of them ones where, all right then, how do I work this one out? So then I'm training, and the guys can see me getting stressed. My close friends can see me getting stressed. So they said to me, "Rendall, you give us the tickets, give us the posters, we'll sell the tickets,
Oh, that's proper.
and
friends.
you concentrate about the fighting."
Yeah.
So I always remember, so the fights are coming, and then I had this fight. So they've sold all the tickets one day for me, and then my mate's gone, "Right, we've got it. The boxing bin man thing's working." I said, "Shut up, man. What are you all about?"
That's how they're selling it.
This is
Yeah,
how they're
they're
selling
pitching it like that.
But little did I know that everyone they're selling tickets to, they're telling these man buy a high-vis vest because we got the show, man. We're supporting Rendall Munroe. So the side what people don't see is because it was always on the telly. Unless you was at the show, you wouldn't see it. But you only see it on telly.
Yeah.
So you imagine that when you're gonna come out to the fight, so you got a whip that comes in the change room, and he comes and tells you, "Right, you're on in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Or you're on in 10 minutes."
Kind of like a producer.
Yeah. So he'd know. So they'd go, "Right, you're on next. We need to get you ready because you're live on Sky." So you'd have like a little bit of a boxing where they put you in this box. So you get in this box, they put you in this box, and then you're waiting. But already now the crowd's outside shouting. But as I've walked out to get into this box, I'm like, "Nah, man, where's all these vests come from?"
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
But that's
So-
the brethren promote. That's your friends from working at
from work promoting the
That's
boxing bin
real.
man thing.
Yeah.
So that's where all that came from.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So, like it says, it was everyone. Where I got to was everybody's help.
Playing their part.
Yeah, everybody's helped me to get to where I get to. Do you know what I mean? Help
And
me.
then you're here today, you know what I mean, and the rest is history. So also as well, you see like where you've retired now, you were saying so when you was boxing, what would your diet require, like your day, like how would you eat day to day?
I'd have. At the time, I was having porridge every morning with water.
Or oats,
Yeah, man.
no sugar.
No sugar,
Oh my
a little bit of honey, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of
Oh,
nutmeg.
so you put a bit of honey.
Yeah.
That's
So
alright.
a little bit of something, but it was always made no milk, always made with water.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Microwave with water or on the bowl with microwave was the easier way to do it. Then at work, I'd carry myself a egg white salad.
Okay.
So just egg whites, no yolk. But my salad, see me, I don't like salad. So my salad, mine was nothing. My salad was lettuce, tomato, and beetroot. That's it. Nothing else. So you can imagine the driest bowl in there.
Whoa, but no salad dressing on it.
No,
Nothing, because you can't add these things.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then man, I'd have a little tin of pineapples because I used to get told if you eat pineapples, it's good for the muscles, stops aches and pains.
Okay.
So I used to have a little tin of pineapples.
Yeah.
And then finish work, drive over to the gym, train, come back, get some new kit. Obviously, my partner would have my kit ready.
Yeah.
So I drop one bag off, pick a next bag up, and go. At the time it was Greens, but it's called Nuffield now.
Yeah.
Go there.
Nuffield Health.
Yeah. And train again.
Yeah.
Come home, my food in the steamer because everything was out the steamer.
Wow.
Chicken, broccoli.
So all your food had to be steamed.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's kind of one of these. It's like now when I tell, when people are doing these diet plans and this and that, and someone said to me one time, "Can you make me a diet plan?" I said, "What do you mean?" So I need a diet plan. So I said, "Diet plan for what?" You just pick 3 things and eat them every day. Nah, man, can't do that.
Yeah, that's long.
Can't
It's repetitive. You're eating the same thing every day.
And I'm saying, well, that's it. Done that. And it's kind of, so the reason being, if something's not working, you've got to be able to pinpoint what's not working, what's making you feel bloated, what's giving you cramps, what's the. But if you got on this day I'm gonna have this, and then this day I'm gonna have this, and this day I'm gonna have that. Yeah. You know what the problem is.
That's true, you know, because you're not counting how much sugar you're having here or how much
because everything's
calories.
Different.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you get what I mean?
So you see, when you was eating that food, would you say that did that make you feel like have more energy? Because you know, like when you're training, what I realize you lose a lot of energy.
But it basically all it was is obviously the guy used to do all my stuff, Harry Singh. He wasn't no top like nutritionist, what people done, but he know about how things work.
Yeah.
He was in the gym game for a long time, so he knew how things worked. So it's just like eating certain foods at certain times. So like it's crazy as it was be like, all right, then if I'm coming home and all I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a little steady run and have my chicken, broccoli, green beans, and I mostly have 50 grams of sweet potato. Whereas if I know, say I'm going to go home and I'm going to do a circuit, and most probably got 75 or 100 grams of sweet potato. So everything was there for a purpose. Everything was there for a purpose. So every time it's kind of one of them where if I'm eating this for this reason. You know what I mean? There's a reason behind everything I'm eating all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so see, like now you're out of like you're in retirement. Is your diet changed?
Yeah. I won't say I still eat the same thing. I get up,
so you're still being that routine.
Yeah. So I eat every single morning. I eat 3 eggs every single morning. I go work. I have a bagel. Then at lunch I'll have a tin of mackerel and rice, or every now and again I'll steam some chicken. Steam chicken with rice and veg. And then whatever the missus.
Not a curry goat.
No, man. Whatever the missus cooks at home, I eat. That's it. I think my bad trait now is I used to be terrible at biscuits. Now I can't help some money there. But I used to tell people just kept joke saying to me, what's in? I says, you know what? One of the biggest things for me is I used to have biscuits in the cupboard. And I used to tell people I could be sitting there, I could hear them like, and they say,
you know, that's mad because I love biscuits, you know.
And I go to the cupboard and I open the cupboard and I go, no, I can't do it, man, shut the cupboard back. Then it got to a point where if the biscuit was open, I wouldn't eat. If the biscuits was open, I gotta eat now. So it used to get that bad that at one point I even ate a couple of biscuits out and chucked them in the bin, chucked the packet in the bin. No, when I say when you make your weight, you know, man, don't think man ain't going back to the bin, you know, to get the biscuits out.
Quickly.
I can hear him like, man's go back to the bin to get.
Do you know what it is with biscuits as well, because that's how I feel. Like I would buy a pack of biscuits, I'll have them there, or like cookies or whatever they is, and I'll have a tea and that, and then you see, like it's the night time that hits me, and this is what's bad, and this is why I asked you, because it's even me learning myself like discipline. Because it's not bad, it's not good for our health, it's bad for us. It makes us put on weight.
But then, things got serious, man. Because in the end, man used to just, what I used to have to do in the end is I used to have to get the biscuits, empty them in the bag.
There must be something they're putting in these biscuits, man.
Bang the biscuits like this, so there's a crumple up, and then empty in the bin. Because then they say I can't get them back out. But they're like the levels, whereas now, I eat biscuits every day all the time. 2, 3 biscuits.
What's your favourite biscuits?
Digestives at the fridge. Chocolate digestives at the fridge.
Chocolate digestives. McVitie's or?
Yeah, man.
Do you know, I think McVitie's, I don't know, since this sugar tax thing, I just like do you know, I like Marks and Spencer's biscuits.
Man can't afford them.
No, you know what it is. I'm not going to lie, they're reasonably priced, you know, like 79p, 80p, they're cheap, you know. £1.20.
You know when you walk into town and someone you go shopping and you go, forget Marks and Spencer's, you know.
Man, they're buying food from there, but I'll get a couple of biscuits from there. Still, they're biscuits, and they're all butter biscuits from Marks and Spencer's people.
Yeah.
There's other shops, you know what I mean, that you can get, you know. But I was going to ask you as well, what relationships do you have with like other boxers in the boxing world that people would know? Do you have any rapport with anyone or?
You know what? It's weird because in the boxing world, once you're a boxer, you're a boxer. So it's like football. Every footballer knows every football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I go anywhere and I see anybody, I talk. You know what I mean? Obviously, I used to talk to Joshua when I seen him.
Okay.
Obviously, he works Fury. I spoke to Fury a few times.
Yeah.
So in the boxing world, you're a boxer. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's weird because it's kind of like if you're on the outside, you'll see someone like, oh wow, you're flipping it there, such and such. Whereas if you're in there,
just used to it.
It's just the norms. You go to shows and certain fighters are there, certain fighters are ringside. Kelbrook, Nazim, obviously he's gone away now, but you know what I mean. It's kind of all these. At the time when you're there,
they're your peers.
Yeah,
they're your peers.
Times you're just there talking. You know what I mean? Like it's the norm.
And they know who you are. They know who they are.
So it's the norm. Whereas people will be looking like, oh, there's such and such.
Yeah.
Let's try and get a photo.
No, like, I'm not gonna lie. I saw Tony Bellew on the train the other day. I was coming back from Nottingham. Come down now. I got into London. Got on the underground. I said, I see this big tall guy on the train like this. Yeah. But what made me notice him? He had a Cuban chain like this, but it was tucked in. And he had a Daytona on the rollie, And I was like, I looked at him because he had a tan. I thought, maybe it's like an Albanian or one of these Albanian man. They don't know because London is anywhere anyway. But I looked again. I said, wait, that's Tony Bellew. Everyone on the train was just sitting there normal. Me, I done that. I got my phone out. I was like, yes, Tony Bellew, big up, you're in London. And he's just thinking, what is this guy doing? But he was humble, and that's another thing that I see in the sport of like in boxing and fighting. MMA fights.
I went out a few times with my mates to Liverpool, so with all my cousins and that, and we're in a queue in the thing, and Tony Bellew walked by, so he's going like he's VIP in it because obviously they let him in. So he's walked by me now, and I've heard someone go, oh, Rendall's in the queue as well, and he's gone, what? This is the champ, man. What are you doing, man? Come out the queue, man. Yo, let this guy in. I'm like, and me, I'm like, yeah, but I ain't on my own. I've got people with me. Yeah, man, bring them in too. Bring them in too. So sometimes it's nice because, like you say, to be recognised, everyone's like, oh, there's Tony Bellew and Rendall's in the queue, you get me? But I was always one of them. I don't think I'm not different to nobody else. So I'd stay up in the queue like everybody else. You know what I mean? I went on a talk before with Joshua doing a talk in Leicester. I just went. Obviously, nice to see certain boxers doing their thing. And then someone's asked a question about what it's like. What's the feeling like when you're in the changing room who's going to fight for a big title? And he turned around and says, you're asking the wrong man. See, this man is sitting down here. This is the man you should be asking. Do you get what I mean? So sometimes, like, in the boxing world, it's nice to be recognised by people who everyone looks up to.
Yes, you know that's like the poster boy or the goal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
You see as well, like when you do go for a fight, because again, like even you said what Joshua was saying, not Joshua, was it Joshua? Yeah, about the nerves. How do you, before a fight, how do you prepare with your nerves? Like, because everyone gets nervous. I heard Mike Tyson say it as well.
It's weird, you know, because for me, in the changing room and in the ring, nothing. My thing was walking to the ring. Even like one of my fights, I had my mates come in the changing room and they were all sitting there like, oh. And I'm like, what's up, boys? And they're like, how are you not nervous, Rendall? Because we're nervous, we ain't even doing nothing, we're just walking to the ring. You know what I mean? But for me, and that's another reason why I used to walk to the ring with glasses on. Because same again, people don't know that, like I said to you earlier, when you're coming out, when the whip goes right, you need to be outside now, we're going to get ready. So you're already outside in the arena before everyone, like I say, the boxing's changing now, so they're doing it a bit different. But when I was fighting, you'd kind of come out your changing rooms into the arena and you get in the box, so everyone's already seen you there. Everyone's already shouting you, do you know what I mean? And then obviously the TV comes on, they start announcing you. But for me, it was like, that bit there of waiting to get in the ring, that's when my nerves kicked in. So that's
when you're like standing, you were standing there in your robe and that.
That's it, so that's when you're nervous. So that's why I got the glasses in the end. Because then I could kind of put the glasses on and stand there with my eyes shut.
Is that what you used to do,
nobody can see your eyes shut because you got your glasses on. But I just stand with my eyes shut in a world of my own. And then it became like, I always say, when you watch the ring walks, my ring walks was always the same. I do the same thing. So it was kind of that one where I just wanted to get in there. Just get me in.
Get this fight done.
Just get me in. It wasn't even like get the fight done. It was just get me in the ring.
Get me away from these people.
That's it. As soon as I'm in there, everything else was. So that's where the glasses came from. Because then when you say, why did you walk to the ring with glasses on? And that's the whole point of walking to the ring. Because I could shut my eyes even though people are shouting.
Hecklers, we call them hecklers. Yeah, you got to be able to tune up from the hecklers.
Yeah, that's it. Because like you say, 75% of the fights in here, and if it's messed up before you even get in there, then look at how fit, how strong you are. You're gonna
lose. Yeah. Also as well, I see that you're involved in a lot of charity work. So like, tell us and tell the people like what your charity is called and what type of work you do.
So basically, obviously, I did a lot of stuff with Bodie Hodges.
Okay.
Obviously, same again, a friend of mine. Obviously, my son, God bless him, not here now. But he was going to the same school, so it was one of his teachers. So basically, I've always said to a lot of people, if you can use my name to do something, use it. You know what I mean? Because I say, when people used to say to me, oh, look at this celebrity, look at this, and I say, I'm just someone who's doing something I enjoy doing. I don't think I'm no different to nobody else. Yes, I get a bit of a highlight and whatnot else, but I always say the people who are trying to help people are the real celebrities. That's who we need to look for.
That's right, they're the heroes.
Yeah. So then with the Bodie Hodges thing, he came along. Obviously, he lost his son at 2 years old. I think he choked on a cat biscuit. So he wanted to promote, how do I work with people, like parents who have lost children at a young age, because there was never nothing set for people who lost. For a young age. Yeah. So he says, he spoke to me. He says, would you be a patron of our charity? So I was like, yeah, man, what do I need to do? He says, just when we put events on, would you do it? You know what I mean? So obviously, in a lot of my fights, I wore the Bodie Hodges t-shirts. I had Bodie Hodges on my shorts. Obviously, you can see in the gym, I've got Bodie Hodges stuff in here. But then obviously, because of how I was, I used to do a lot of charity stuff, like you say, Heart Foundation. Mate, you name it, I think I've done everything for all the charities, because I just think that I'm just a normal guy who's just doing what I'm doing what I love doing.
Yeah, and you're doing it from the cleanness of your heart as well. You're not even doing it just to get stripes from people. I can see that.
So like I say, I've started my own charity, because obviously the work I do now, I work with kids, you know what I mean, excluded from mainstream schools. So I run a whole charity division called Triple Skills. But one of the things I've realised that why the kids are coming to you while they're in school, everything's cool. When the holidays come, kids are out, they're doing whatever, they're getting themselves mixed up in a few issues, and like you say, we've had kids that have not come back because they've either died, been killed, or they've ended up in jail. So kind of, we set up, me and my business partner, Graham Chambers, set up a thing called Triple Skills in the community as a charity now, to try and get something together where we can do something for kids in the holidays, because obviously London might be a bit different, but obviously here in Leicester, they're trying to close down all the
youth clubs.
Our
ones are closed long time.
And I just think, man, and then they're talking about kids being antisocial, causing problems. Well, what do you expect?
What have you given them? No workshops, nothing for them. Yeah.
So I've started my own charity now, Triple Skills, to kind of go along them ways. So, but as in charity work, me, I do everything. Like I say, I go everywhere to help people. You know what I mean? Where I can you take your belts? Can you have phones? Yeah, no problems, man. I'm just here, I'll smile. You know what I mean?
Man, no, big you up. And obviously, when I did do my research and I saw that, and unfortunately, you lost your son. Like, how do you cope with that though? Because you seem so like that seems like a traumatic experience.
Do you know what it is? I don't know. Everyone's different, man. I've always been a believer in life that everything happens for a reason. Everything, no matter, even like you know, when people always say to me now about the boxing, I always say to them, you know what? Sometimes when I sit there and I go, I got into the boxing through him, and then the whole point was the dream was to be able to give the family everything they wanted. But then, as you start to get a little higher, you start to say, where can I go with this? What can I do with this? And obviously, in the boxing world, once you become a world champion, you're earning some decent money.
Yeah.
So I always used to say to people, when it got to a point for me, I used to say, I want to earn enough money out of boxing to be able to buy a house to live for my family, a nice house for my family to live, and have a house to rent. Yeah. Never have to go work again. Yeah. Sit back, get fat, do nothing, enjoy life.
Retirement. Yeah.
You get what I mean? Now, and this is what I always say to people, when I look back on my boxing career and think, the opportunities to win a world title was very slim. Do you know what I mean? I had to go to Japan to get an opportunity to fight for a world title.
Wow.
When you're looking at all the lads who've won a world title at my time, nobody went nowhere. Everyone boxed at home in England.
Yeah, in England, that's right.
Do you know what I mean? Even to the point of bringing fighters over from different countries here to fight other kids what ain't even in my weight. How does that work? Do you know what I mean? But I look at it goes that everything's for a reason, everything happens for a reason, and that's why I think that the reason I didn't win in Japan is because if I'd have won, I win, a defence, whether you win or lose, you're getting paid the purse. So that had done enough for me to go, I don't need to go work no more. I've done what I've done. Whereas I believe that everything I'm doing now was already perfectly done for me to do. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, I look now and I go, I'm running my own gym, I'm working with fighters, I'm working with charities. You get what I mean? I got my 2 houses.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Bro, so it's still there.
Bro.
It's still there, and everything's there for a reason. As crazy as it is, all the work I did with the Bodie Hodges to lose my own son. Do you know what I mean? We don't know.
We don't plan for these things.
No, that's it. And I always say, because everyone, even till the other day at the garage, I took my car in the garage, and the man in the garage says, I heard about what happened. He said, I didn't really know you until you came in the garage, because this guy come from Birmingham. And he says, I recognise your face. And then he says, oh yeah, I was talking to a few people about you. And then when I went, he says, I always see you running up and down here. I'm ringing you up, say your car's done. You're telling me you can't go because you can't come because you got to go next job. Yeah. And then he says, do you do it for that reason, to try and forget about it? I said, no, I'm just a busy guy. Do you know what I mean? And not only that, would it hit me more if I was at home doing nothing? Facts. Do you get what I mean? It's kind of like I was saying. Me and my partner used to have little debates about it, because obviously he was a mummy's boy. Yeah. So mum took it hard. Of course, yeah. Whereas for me, I was like, someone's got to stay strong. Someone's got to keep doing something. So when she wasn't at work, don't go work. Yeah. But someone's still got to provide. Facts. So I still have to be out there as a man as well. I still got to do. I got all the kids. You know what I mean? I still got to work for them. I still got to do what I need to do. So, you know what I mean? That's like I say. It's a hard one. Life in general is a hard one. It's like, obviously, my middle child, 3 years before that, he had a bleed on the brain out of nowhere. Found him in his bedroom. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I always say my thing is, the man upstairs gives his hardest work to his strongest soldiers. So if life's hard, you don't realise, but you're somebody else's inspiration. Somebody's looking at you going, man's gone through all of that, and look at what he's still doing. Yeah. What am I running for? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like that statement you say. Someone turned around and says, I didn't like my shoes, but then he looked up the road, man ain't even got no feet. No, yeah, exactly. See, look at that. I was going to say no shoes, but man ain't even got feet. His foot's chopped off. You know what I mean? So it's that one where sometimes you have to look and you think, life is the way it is. Make the most out of it what you can. And like my motto has always been, if you can change it, change it. If you can't, make do with what it is and try and make it the best you can. Yeah, man. No, man. Thank you as well, man. What I want to do, obviously, just if you could show like some little bag work for us. You know what I mean? Even maybe give me a little tutorial if you've got a bit of time. And yeah, man. No, but thank you like for your time as well. You get me? And definitely, I think we need to invite you to London again on the podcast. You know what I mean? So, but it just shows like no matter what position you're in life, like being a humble human, it gets you somewhere. You know what I mean? Life is a humbling experience. Life is a humbling journey. We go through things that we don't plan, and we might even have opportunities around us, and it's like you still have to be able to balance it. You know what I mean? So I've learned a lot. Even till the day I found out my dad passed away, one of my lads was fighting. So I'm there waiting for a guy to weigh in, and I get the phone call. I'm like, nah. But then you kind of look at it and go, as crazy as it is, the following day he was fighting the following day. And everyone's like, how are you here, Rendall? And I'm like, I got to do what I got to do. Yes. Life still has to go on. I still have to provide for my other children. You're right. As crazy as it is, we got to do these things. You have to. And I always think that sometimes in life, we're put here for a challenge. Yeah, we put here for a challenge. Like I said, God inspirations for people. Yeah, God gives the hardest time to his strongest soldiers. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I've been through a lot of like deaths, and I've lost my big sister, I've lost my mum, I even lost one of my closest friends to suicide. And the same thing, the day when I found out, someone's called me and said, your friend's dead. Like the way they've done it as well. He committed suicide, but I was just sitting down to film my podcast. And that's gone on. And then like my brain's quickly just froze, and then I've just had to just channel back out quickly and get into my mode, and that kind of I think even helped me as well, because I was feeling to blame, because you see in life, like, again, death is part of life. We all got to go one day, but when you lose someone to something, sometimes you might even kick yourself. He's only my friend, but at the same time, I felt like you didn't call me. You hung us, like, you know what I mean? You took your own life and you could have called me. So we don't plan for these things, but again, it's what makes us the soldiers that we are today. You know what I mean? So
Nah, man, thank you, my bro, man. Appreciate you, man. Big up always, man. Love, bro. Thank you. Man, I'm still doing. That's why man get the proper rate. You know what I mean, though, innit? Let's see. So look at this is the Wall of Fame. Look.
Tyson.
Yeah, I see that earlier. I see that earlier.
You know, Cass Pennant. I don't know if you remember Cass Pennant.
From the film.
Yeah.
From the West Ham film.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, is that him?
Yeah, man. West Ham hooligan.
Yeah, of course I know about Cass Pennant. Cass is, yeah.
Did some promo stuff with Bruno. Obviously, Danny Williams and Jermaine Smile.
Big up Danny Williams from the end, you know, from Bricky, innit? Yeah, he's from Brixton.
Obviously, Jermaine Smile was from Leicester.
Yeah. Look, Bruno, you know, my guy, that was my boxer when I was young. Yeah, it was my favourite boxer.
That's what I used to speak about quite often, to be fair. And like I say, all these little things here. That's where I was nominated for one of the fights of the year. You know what I mean? British Boxing Board of Control.
Yeah.
European Champion of the Year, twice, 2 years on the bounce.
Look at that.
2 years on the bounce.
2 years on the bounce, you know.
Joshua, Mayweather.
So I'm saying, you've met all they're your peers, so it's like, you're one of them, bro. You're one of them, you know what I mean?
And then, I think I was nominated 3 times for British Boxer of the Year, and I can't remember, it was 2010, I won. So I was classed as best British boxer in the UK.
Okay.
And I was see the black guy in the picture at the top?
Yeah.
So that's David A. in there, but the black guy.
Oh, yeah, there's David A. That's what I forgot to ask you. You related to him?
Yeah,
you related to him, yeah? Is your family cousin?
Cousin, yeah.
Okay.
Cousin to us. Yeah, so in that one, the black guy come over and he was the Everlast man.
Okay.
So he come over and goes, "Who are you sponsored by?" So I says, "Nobody." He goes, "What do you mean?" He says, "You're European champion, Commonwealth champion, you're sponsored by no one." I says, "No, I ain't." He goes, "Well, as of now, he's sponsored by Everlast."
Jeez.
I was like, "How's that work?" He says, "Where's your manager?" So I says, "Oh, he's over there sitting down." So he's gone over there and he goes, "Right, it's all sorted." About 3-4 weeks later, I've turned up at the gym. Man, the gym was full. Everlast tracksuits, Everlast boots, Everlast egg guards, Everlast gloves. Yeah. Me being such a nice guy, yo lads,
giving them out.
Egg guard.
Yeah, giving them out, you know.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
So yeah, all these British Fight of the Year awards, Fight of the Year awards. Pete, the guy who came up with the boxing bin man thing, Pete Hibbert.
Okay, that's him, yeah.
Yeah, man, still talk to him today.
Big up Pete.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, big up.
I was a massive Zab Judah fan.
Big up Zab Judah as well. Wow.
5-time world champion. You know what I mean? And the picture at the top, that's where I just became #1 in the world. I stopped Terrazas. I became #1 in the world after that.
Yeah, this is powers, man.
That's my fight with me, Sean, middle champion.
Okay, yeah, we have to talk to Sean. We have to, have a conversation with Sean, man, and see.
We're going Scotland 20th of June to fight for the Commonwealth title. Obviously, one of my own licensed lads, Harry Bray, big Harry Bray. And look, it shows how thing goes back. Look, there's him there, and look. So he came to me to talk to me when he said, "Can I have a photo with your belt?" And then obviously I'm training him now.
Look at that. Look how the world works. Wow. See, Leicester.
Yeah.
Wow.
Birch, Ricky Hatton's got Quig.
Look at Ricky Hatton. Mascot as well, Leicester City mascot.
Another charity event I did.
Yeah, because I forgot to ask you the marathon. You do it every year. You were saying it as well.
The Great North Run I do.
Yeah.
I've done the marathon, the London Marathon once.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, but I did the Great North Run. This is my 10th time. Okay. And this is the guy Joe.
Do you win it all the time?
Nah.
When you say there's some man that's on smoke, innit?
Right. This is the guy. If it weren't for him, I reckon I'd have thinking. So he's just had to retire because about a month or 2 ago he had a bleed on the brain. Sparring.
From sparring?
Yeah. He had to stop.
Wow, man.
But, you know, when it comes to someone who's passionate about their sport, you know, the guy runs his own plumbing business. He's got a Porsche 911.
Jeez.
And he turns up for a weigh-in for a 6-rounder, you know, not even like no titles, in a Porsche. You realise that these men who boxing,
they got bread
because they're trying to get a better life.
My
man's like, yo, I just love boxing.
Yeah, he just loves it. Because he's up already. Like he said, he's got his Porsche and he's a plumber. He's a plumber. Come on, you already know.
And Willows. You know what I mean, doing the business out there, but you know, and if it weren't for him, I reckon I'd end up having to come back. And if it weren't for him, like all these lads now I'm training, this gym wouldn't have been here. Cause, like you say, if it wasn't for him, I was on the verge of giving the gym up. Yeah. I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm always away from the family. And he come one day and says, will you take your license to train me? Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, you know, because I love sport. Because at the time I was sparring.
Okay.
So I said, I love sparring. So he said, all right, then I tell you what, you go do the interview to see if you're allowed your license, if you're a sparrer, if you're sparring, and if you are, will you do it? I said, yeah, if I'm allowed to, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I went down to Birmingham for an interview with the border control.
Okay.
And they turned around and says, why weren't you allowed to spar? I said, I don't know, that's why I've never been.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then from that point there, I got my trainer's license, and I've been training fighters since.
Look at that. Legendary. Legendary, bro. You're a legend. Legend, bro. It just shows that you've continued the legacy. And once you're in a sport like this as well, it's just hard to kind of just leave it alone.
Yeah, that's it. That's
you're like an Avenger, bro. You get me? You know, like the Avengers have to link up again quickly, and their families don't know, but we got to get back in it, assemble. So yeah, man, it's nice in there.